Do we feel obligated to stay in touch just because, or with people just because of history? Meaning, say for instance, um, past relationships, friendships, whatever the case may be. Say for instance, Cam gets into it with one of his friends and then they're no longer cool, whatever the case may be. And we've developed a relationship with this person because this person has come to our house to eat, hung out with the family, all the things. But then their friendship is severed, right? Am I expected, because I'm Cam's mom and you're Cam's uncle, to sever their relationship with this person as well?
I don't think we're expected to,
Hmm.
or we're not obligated to. Sometimes we are expected to,
For sure.
but we don't owe obligations to anyone but ourselves.
So if Cam is no longer talking to, say, for instance, Bubba down the street, do we still talk to Bubba? What say you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't care as long
Yeah.
as he not like coming to the house. You can text him, but if he, yeah, he can't come to the house.
What about ex-girlfriends? And so, say for instance, there's ex-girlfriends around, and then I've developed a relationship with this ex-girlfriend from you, from whatever the case may be. And we text and we talk and we do all the things. And now all of a sudden their relationship between you guys are severed. Can I no longer have a conversation or a relationship with this person that you no longer date or have a relationship with? Am I considered to be a traitor
No,
to my family?
no, I don't
No?
think so because the bond, whatever the bond is between you
Mhm.
and that ex person,
Yeah.
um, y'all can keep that.
Mhm.
But now if it's me, I'm no longer involved.
Right.
So if I'm there and if I'm around, y'all talk about y'all business.
Mhm.
Just don't involve me.
I got you. I totally understand that. But as far as like our mom is concerned, right?
Yeah.
Say for instance, there's old relationships, there's no relationship, there's no courtship, there's no nothing. There's a relationship that has been severed,
Mhm.
right? And so then this person still contacts our mom,
Yeah.
right? Or still contacts our dad. It doesn't really matter. Are we can they have a relationship with this person that we do not like or we can't stand or anything like that? Because to me, it wouldn't be a problem. But if the relationship ended on a bad note, how would you feel about that whole thing? And they come around. Because you know how mama is. She
Yeah, yeah,
invite anybody to
yeah,
anything, right?
yeah.
But then what would you do and how would you react to that situation? Or would it be different if you have children together? There's a whole different situation. There's no longer a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a fiance or an ex-wife. There's kids that are involved. How would that be different?
With the kids,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship continues with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, concerning with our mom,
Uh-huh.
she's going to have that relationship regardless because she don't necessarily know how to tell people, okay, that's enough. So she's just like a free spirit and
Right.
she's going to talk or whatever. But for me, it wouldn't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not involved in it. I just don't want to be involved. Have that relationship.
But Lucy is still coming around, and Lucy is coming to the house for dinner. But then you and Lucy don't talk. So how would that bother you?
Lucy don't come to the house.
I'm just saying if Lucy did.
Lucy, it's time to go.
Okay, I got you. I understand that. I don't have a problem with it
Mhm.
either way. Honestly, if I'm just being perfectly honest with you, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with, say, for instance, my children's father coming around. I'm already knowing that there's nothing going on there,
Right.
so I don't care. We share children. We have three together, and it doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really bother me for him to be there. Now, if it bothered my husband, then we will have a conversation, but it doesn't bother me. So if I fall out with somebody, it doesn't bother me that you have a relationship or continue to have a relationship with that person. Now, to my daughter, it's a totally different conversation.
Right.
Because if I don't talk to them anymore, you can't talk to them anymore. And then I'm fake. Is that how you feel? Not at
No,
all?
no. I mean, you can talk to whoever you want to.
Yeah?
Just if y'all do keep that connection or relationship. I mean, long as I'm not in any conversation that y'all have,
Hmm.
then I can say what y'all want to say. Talk to y'all want to talk.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But what if sometimes that girl may have an ulterior motive. Like she stays around, not because she loves me or we have a relationship, but more so like if I stay around the mom, then I can get to the son. But I'm not picking up on any of that. But you're seeing through her, and I'm like, oh, you just being silly and paranoid or whatever the case may be. How does that go from mama you being nice to where you just being silly because we're seeing all of this and you don't? How does that even pan out?
A conversation is had. A conversation between, hey, mom,
Mm-hmm.
I think this person has an interior motive. I think they're just trying to check on me and they just trying to be around me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to watch me.
Okay.
So once we have that conversation, if we may agree to agree, and if we agree to disagree,
Mm-hmm.
then whenever X comes around or
Mm-hmm.
whoever the person is comes around, forewarn me that
Mm-hmm.
they're going to come, because now I don't want to be in the vicinity if I feel like it's a facade, if I feel like it's fake,
Okay.
because I don't want to be involved into the fakeness. And then if you do have this interior motive, you may be trying to get me out of character.
Okay.
And if that's what you want, get 2 scoops and you might.
What does it mean?
I'm just
What does
saying.
2 scoops
No.
mean?
Okay. If you go this way
Uh,
and then you still have an interior motive, make that left and keep on going and you might find out. You understand what I'm
okay.
saying?
Oh, so you just said
Keep
mess
messing
around
around,
and
you
might
might
find
find
out.
out.
I totally
Mhm.
understand that because as uncles to nieces
Mhm.
and uncles to nephews, and then moms to a daughter and to 2 boys, right?
Right.
So sometimes when relationships end on a bad note, or sometimes if we don't like the person that our children or our nieces are in relationships with, how do you deal with that type of situation? Because we love them, we want to be like, okay, I love you, so I'll tolerate, right? So I can remember, coming up as far as like my niece, her and her, her relationship or whatever, how it was kind of difficult for us to kind of watch because we didn't like the guy, right?
Uh-huh.
But yet and still she loved him, but yet we had to be like, okay, she loves him, we got to deal with it, whatever the case may be, and we don't like him, but yet and still we have to put up with that, or we just do it because we love her. Is there a cutoff to all of that? Is there like a limit to where, listen, I care about you, I don't like him, but I'm gonna tolerate him because of you? Is there like a cutoff point to where we don't have to do anything like that? Being a family?
For me, it's gonna be different
Mhm.
because I may tolerate a person, but if I genuinely don't like you, that's all it takes is for one time for my niece to say I don't like you, and then I'm ready to go wherever you want to go.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at her.
Mhm.
If she's all right, then okay, cool. But
Mhm.
if at any point she says, "Oh, I don't want you around," then I'm ready to squabble. You
Got
know
you.
me,
Uh-huh.
and I'm ready to do that at any given time because I don't want to see my niece hurt. I don't want to see my sister hurt. I don't want to see anybody hurt. Remember, even growing up, when say I was the youngest one, but I told y'all couldn't have boyfriends, and I would get into it with your boyfriends, me even being smaller. And I would always say, I don't care if y'all get back together. I
Mhm.
will fight him every time I see him. Y'all can love each other, but I'm a beat on him every time I see him.
Oh, Jesus. I remember you telling Tammy that
Yeah.
about a certain guy. I remember that. Say for instance, it's a family member,
Mhm.
one of our own, right? And we had to walk away from that person because we love them, but honestly, we just cannot deal with it because it's too much. It's way too many issues, way too much going on, way too much water under the bridge, or however you say that. And then we have to walk away from that person, right? How is that? And what do we do with that? Say, for instance, they don't like me, but they love you
Right.
and they love Tammy or whatever the case may be. How do we deal with those types of situations? Or do we deal with that situation? Do we let it go and let them do what they need to do? And we just kind of dissolve our whole like relationship, but know that we're still related and we still love one another, but love each other from a distance? How make that make sense?
Okay. Because we had this situation
Mm-hmm.
with me. I won't go into names.
Mm-hmm.
We had a family member that everyone loved,
Mm-hmm.
but we got into it,
Mm-hmm.
and the family knew that we got into it.
Mm-hmm.
I told the individual's mother,
Mm-hmm.
and I told them, I said, I don't care where I see you at.
Mm-hmm.
If I see you at church, if I see you at a funeral,
Mm-hmm.
if I see you at the store, I'm going to get on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that family member talked to my mom and was like, can they just not do this, not do this? But it was too many things had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Bridges had been burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And it took an event to happen for someone, that
Mm-hmm.
event happened for us to be like, you know what? We family members.
Right.
And we can just learn to not deal with each other. The
Mm-hmm.
whole family, we still love each other, and
Mm-hmm.
we love each other because we are family.
Right.
But there are some lines that once they're crossed, there is no return.
Right. I got you. It makes sense. I think that sometimes we deal with our family members, or we know that, hey, we don't have anything in common, nothing but that we are blood related. You know what I'm saying? And so with that, we have our own separate lives. We grow up, we separate, we do all the things. But sometimes if we're talking about unity, and I said this the other day
Mhm.
to us in our text, if we're talking about unity and trying to unify our family again, why is there still such a separation? And we're not going to get into that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, it's just a little, is it different from like an ex to even a family member? So I don't even think that there's a difference. The only difference is we're related by blood, but the act is still the same.
Right.
So I'm like, so how far do you go with that? Do we try? Or do we just leave it where it is? And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen. And we could just die, be like, hey, I know I love them. This is who we are. This is where we are. And then we're good to go.
Right. And
Okay.
I think it can be like that because sometimes it just is what it is.
Right.
And it happens. And we have to learn as we grow older and we are adults that if we take everything personal, it will cause you or the person to be
Right.
miserable because every time it happens, you'll be like, well, dang,
Yeah.
for real?
Right.
Seriously? You know what I'm saying? And then the thing about it is you have to see sometimes the circumstances are different. Like if no one knew,
Mm-hmm.
or if it was a last spur of the moment thing and somebody had just told you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what it is.
Right.
And that's what happens. So we have to choose our battles to taking things personal and not taking it personal because it costs too much if it costs you your peace.
Right.
It's too much then.
I totally understand that. I think if we're talking about family, between peace and non-peace, I feel like sometimes we already know what's going to happen. And sometimes we kind of fall out of friend with that relative and they become a foe. And the crazy part about it is you don't even know why they become a foe, but yet and still you are in this category and it's fine. It hurts for a minute because you don't understand why. But then you kind of get over it with the rest of the world because honestly, you just treat it just like you would treat anybody else. And you just keep it moving. Have you ever reconnected with someone and you regret it? Like, say, for instance, you had a relationship and you let it go, but then you reconnect because you're thinking, hey, we can work it out. But then all of a sudden you regret it and then we're back to where we are. So how does that go? Even for a family member. So say, for instance, Bo gets with Lucy, right? Then he breaks up with Lucy, but then he gets back with Lucy. So Lucy's been in our family like twice now. And so we're all connecting with Lucy again. And then all of a sudden, Lucy kicks Bo to the curb or Bo kicks Lucy to the curb. So where are we now with the relationship? How are we supposed to act? Do we do this light switch on again, off again with Lucy? Or do we like, boy, you know what? Y'all got to work this out. And if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. And I'm going to continue to talk to Lucy. So how are we here?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that because sometimes when we fall out of relationships with someone, that's a personal thing that we got in, that we disrupted between the two people. They didn't get into it with my sister, or they didn't get into it with my brother. So their relationship may not be severed. But say, for instance, they got into it with me, and then they got into it with my sister and with my brother, and they got into it with all these people, then it's understandable to sever it because you're not no good for nobody in no capacity. Your relationship with any of us is no good because it's a negative situation.
I totally understand that. Kim, what say you?
I just feel like it depends on how close the relationship is.
Gotcha.
Like if you're just there because you would both, and
Yeah.
like there's no point of us talking to you when y'all not.
Right.
But obviously, if y'all like, if she family trips and then she's hanging out with his sisters a lot, then that's different.
Yeah. So this past weekend, I was with my other family. And so I was having a conversation with one of them, and the conversation was, sometimes with sometimes we deal with our ex, right? And not deal with our ex like on a sexual thing, but like conversations, because we have a child together, we have children together, and sometimes conversations will be had, but all of that, those past issues and different things that they've done, and the reason why we're no longer together, we never forget that, but we'll have conversations with that person. And then sometimes, if the relationship with the sisters or with his family is really good, sometimes we never let that family go. Even though we let Billy Bob go, we still hold on to the ties that we have, because we have really good sister in laws, or we have really good mother in laws, or ex mother in laws, or ex sister in laws. And so I can see having really good relationships like that, because me personally, I would love to have something like that, and something that you can kind of hold on to, regardless of if you're in a relationship with their brother or not, or with whatever or not. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So as I was talking to her, it made so much sense. And I'm just like, that's crazy. But I totally understand that, because you've developed a pure relationship with the family, with his family. And so, honestly, out of that, you've gotten some added, or some additional sisters, and then you have an additional like mother-in-law, or whatever the case may be. And even though she's no longer that person for you, she still has that title with you, because you guys have a relationship,
Right.
and you haven't severed that relationship, regardless of the outcome with you and your ex. Now, that's some type of relationship that I would definitely love to have. You know what I'm saying? That you would definitely love to be a part of, not wondering if, hey, you know what, you like me today, but you don't like me tomorrow. Or somebody says something to you, and now you don't like me, because now you're not talking to me. We no longer have conversations anymore, because of something that someone told you, but nothing that you asked me or got clarification for. And I think sometimes we do people a disjustice when we do that, because you lost a really good person, or you lost a really good sister-in-law, because honestly, you want to get along with people
Right.
that's a part of a family. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And so once you lose that, do you really go back into that situation again? Not me. I got to keep my distance, because if you hurt me once, then you're going to hurt me again. So then
Mhm.
you got to stay back. And so it's just amazing to me how relationships work so differently, and how people think about things so differently. Like, you no longer go with Lucy, but I'm still gonna be friends with Lucy. I've been friends with Lucy for 15 years, and you and Lucy been divorced for 20. I mean, for
Right.
like 15. You know what I'm saying? And so you just have that relationship, and it's just crazy to me how things work out. Is there ever a time where you would tell your family, "Hey, no, we ain't gonna be friends with Lucy because you mad"?
Not unless Lucy was talking about you, or Lucy was talking about the individuals who they thought they had this genuine connection with. You know what I'm saying? If As long as y'all bond wasn't severed and everything was real between y'all, like the organic bond, it's all good. But if she got to me and start talking about you and you had no idea,
Mm,
then we have a conversation about, we'll say, y'all so close, but why is she dogging you behind your back? It's gonna already, I already made a judgment about Lucy already, because we're no longer together.
mm.
But now Lucy drops down even more because she's being fake to you and you're being real to her.
I got you. Okay, it makes sense. Have you guys ever lost a friendship, or that you really kind of mess you up in the head about, but then you want to reach out and you don't, because of the way that you feel?
No, because in the way my mind works,
Mhm.
I don't like what ifs. So if there's a possibility in my mind that I feel like I can still make a connection with this person,
Mhm.
and I try and say it doesn't work, then at least I knew that I reached out, that I tried.
Okay.
And if it didn't work, it didn't.
What about you, Kim? Are you just that one hit quitter where you just don't? Like if you let it go, you just done. Because I've seen you in action. And if somebody does something you want, sometimes you don't give second chances.
Nah, I mean, just basically, I would say just depends on how it ended. For real, to be honest, I've had the same friend since what, fourth grade, so never really had no, or I never really been through that for real. Well, actually, I would say I guess I have, but no, I have no plans or any type of action towards that. They can stay where they at. We all right.
I got
Well,
you.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It
mhm.
makes sense. So when there's closure for you, when say for instance you lose a friend or there's a girlfriend that's gone, whatever the case may be, what does closure look like for you? Is it like is that a part of like your closure? Can you not close if I have a constant relationship with Amber and Lucy or whatever the case may be? If I continue to have conversations or continue to have a relationship with this person, can you still have closure with this person?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Even if they come around.
Yeah, I can have my closure looks like I'm over you, and now I have a replacement with me.
Would you bring a replacement
I
around?
would because this is my family,
Right.
and this is a part of my addition. This is someone I'm trying to align with
Hmm.
because me and you didn't work out. We were either
Yeah.
attached, and attachments they come apart. Alignments they
They're
stick
aligned.
together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So sometimes it's a process, a season.
Right.
So my closure looks like me being me having complete peace even when you're around, or me having someone else around. Eh,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That makes
for
sense.
me.
Do you guys remember? You probably don't remember, Bo, but one of our cousins used to date this girl. I want to say her name was Krishna.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember that?
yeah.
So
That's
okay,
like
so they used to date her, but yet and still she was so good with the family and
yeah,
everyone loved her. And even after they broke up, she was remarried and
yeah.
she was still part of this family because everyone loved her so much. And so I'm like, was that ever complete closure with that situation? But it had to be
Yeah.
because but she stayed around and I feel like even to this day she's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
around.
I talk to her now. Be like, hey, how's your day going? She be
That's what
like,
I'm
how your
saying.
son doing?
So
Yeah.
how does that even feel like with that person? So if there was a person in our world, right? How does that even make you feel that there's somebody that you used to date that you call yourself loving
Mhm,
that you could have seen yourself with the family with, but then she's like, boy, bye. And then all of a sudden there's a husband, there's a child,
mhm.
there's a whole family, and she's doing amazingly well. She's always happy. She's doing all the things. How does that work?
One or two ways.
Because I'm like, how does
Yeah.
that work? Because are you feeling some type of way? Is there closure for you? Even though she's coming around, like I'm not saying constantly, but we're steadily in conversation with this girl. You know what I'm saying? Because we love her because she was that amazing. How does that work? And what does closure look like for you at that point?
Well, in my perspective of that, because like I said, we don't know the
Mhm.
whole full
No, no,
format
no,
of
we
anything.
don't. I just
Yeah.
know that she was there,
And
she
she was
wasn't there,
great.
and
Yeah.
then everybody loved her.
Yeah. So when I say one of two ways, the first way is I might be like, dang,
Mhm,
I really messed up
mhm,
something good, but now it's too late.
mhm,
So now I have to be mature enough to be like, I congratulate you on what you're doing and not try to mess it up.
mhm.
And then the other way is try to sabotage everything you're doing and see if I get another chance. I wouldn't do that, but I'm saying that we have people that
Mhm.
will do that, that that are completely into self-sabotage, and it's like, if you ain't with me, then
Right.
hey, I don't want you with nobody.
I understand.
Prime example.
Mhm,
You When I say prime example, you know what
mhm.
I mean?
No, I don't. I'm slow.
When
Don't we don't
Okay, I'm not saying any
yeah.
names,
Okay.
but I was told in a relationship,
Mhm,
and I don't even know how this makes sense.
mhm.
It's not logical when you speak it out loud, and even when it came out of their mouth. I was told that I am going to run your name in the mud
Mm.
until nobody wants you but me. I thought in my mind, I was like, that's the mind of a lunatic. of a crazy person that you would literally try to run somebody's name down until no one's around but you.
Yeah.
And you gonna try to come pick up the pieces?
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
what?
You crazy.
Yeah.
But I get that. I don't get with that last part, but I
Yeah.
understand that. So which makes me think about this. So if we're talking about or like sabotage
Mhm.
when it comes to something like that, how many people would do that? I mean, I know that I would not, but there are
Mhm.
some people out there that definitely would. So then at that point, do you kind of sever the relationship, or you kind of would you leave? Say for if Lucy over here trying to sabotage your relationship with somebody else, do you leave? Do you be like, hey, don't invite Lucy over here again because we can't have that. So
Right.
when does that conversation take place, or do we not have it and we just kind of separate ourselves from the situation?
Once you see it in plain sight,
Mm-hmm.
the sabotage, then there's a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Say, everybody, I don't know if y'all feeling this way or whatever, but Lucy told me this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Lucy really mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these text messages that Lucy sent me. She mean it, y'all. So let's just, as a collective,
Yeah,
let's
let's
just move away from
leave
Lucy.
Lucy alone.
Yeah.
I totally get that, but again, we're gonna throw her out here in these
Mhm.
streets, Marianne.
Yeah.
So Marianne can't leave Lucy because Marianne is super nice.
Right.
And then Marianne feels sorry for everybody, or she wants to love everybody because she thinks everybody needs to be loved.
Right.
And everybody definitely deserves love. But yet and still, Marianne needs to leave Lucy alone because Lucy getting crazy out here in these streets.
Yeah.
But she will not.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Because y'all know mama.
Yeah.
And regardless of who it is and how much it is, it's just like she will continue to try until one or two things happen. Either we're fussing at her
Mhm.
and she gonna still do it, or the person that she continues to talk to and try to be nice to, they're going to say something to her and they're gonna hurt her feelings, or they're gonna come in here and destroy our whole relationship or try to rock our whole family.
Mhm.
And that's when she kind of cut
Yeah.
ties and sever things. So again, do we say, hey, we're not together anymore. Let that girl go or let that boy go.
Yeah.
Do not hold conversations. Don't do any of those things, because if you continue to do this, then we continue to mess up. Because Lucy over here is a little cray-cray, and
Mhm.
Lucy can't understand no means no. She hears what she wants to hear.
Mhm.
She sees what she wants to see. And so now she has a little hope over here because one person in the whole entire family
Mhm.
continues to have conversations with her. What does that part look like? I want to hear from you.
I'm in that situation, I ain't gonna lie. This might sound evil, but I ain't gonna say Graham, I'm gonna just say you. So if you were to do that, then I'm gonna make you choose between me or her.
Really?
I'm gonna stop coming until you stop texting her. Yeah.
Ultimatums. Yeah.
No, for
Okay.
real.
Do you even see me doing that?
No. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if I ask you once, like she can't, and then I see her by surprise, and I'm telling you, I'm not coming. I'm gonna let you know, like, I'm not coming back over here until you sever all contact with
Lucy.
her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I got to sever ties.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same. But I've saw the wonderful Marianne, our mother, sever complete ties
Yeah.
with a Lucy.
Right. But Lucy had to end up
Had to hurt
hurting her
Yeah.
first before she would do it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't enough that Lucy hurt you, or it
Mhm.
wasn't enough that Lucy hurt somebody else. Lucy had to hurt
Hurt her,
her
yeah.
in order for her to understand.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is.
So if Lucy hurts me, or if Lucy hurts you, am I supposed to let Lucy go too? Not hurt by physically, but hurt like talking all this trash, yada 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 yada.
If she's doing that to me, or
Yeah.
it's your preference what you want to do.
Mm,
Because, like we said, Lucy's all her stuff coming at me.
mm,
If at any point it starts to come at you and you see Lucy for who she really is
mhm,
beyond me,
mhm.
then you have a decision to make.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I understand.
Because let's not take it to an ultimatum, because like my nephew said,
Cam already said
it
you
could
got
get there.
an ultimatum, baby. Either me or this right here. So I noticed that with girls, things can be a little bit different than guys, right? So when it comes to like ending friendships and different things like that, sometimes us girls are a little bit different. Sometimes we can be a little bit more like, hey, we don't do that. Like, I know Kaylin is that type of girl. If she's done being friends with someone, she expects us all to be done being friends with this person. And if we don't, then we're fake, right? So then, say for instance, if someone comes up and I see someone that I'm thinking is her friend, and I'm like, hey girl, how are you? Oh, I'm doing good. And then Caitlin comes up and it's like a, you
Yeah.
know, then you already know. Don't be speaking to her. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do
Right.
this. Don't do that. So then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Do I not speak to her because you're mad at her? What if y'all get back together and be cool friends or
Mm.
whatever the case may be? So with girls, I think sometimes it's a little bit different. I know that it's different because when we're done, then we're done, especially when it comes to girls, especially when it comes to us feeling like, hey, my peace of mind, my safe space, different things like that. So once they cut them off, then sometimes it is what it is. And so I don't have to worry about an ultimatum with Caitlin because she's not going to give me an opportunity
Yeah.
to have an ultimatum. It is, we don't talk to her.
Yeah.
And that's just who
Her
sometimes
words.
girls are for sure.
Yeah.
That's just how they are and what they act like. Because if I see someone, I'm talking to them, and then she's like, "We don't speak to her." If my hand goes up, she's throwing my hand down. We don't speak to
Yeah.
her, and we keep on moving. I'm like, "Dang, don't you think that's a little harsh?" And she's like, "No, we don't," because she's cut them off and she's done, which is crazy to me because sometimes that should be like a guy's role. But I was just wondering to see how, like, say for instance, if we say that they are family or they are friends, how do we separate that? Do we look back? Do we continue to have a conversation? Do we continue to have a relationship with that person? Because I know that we do. Some of us we still do. There are people that's in our lives that's going to be there forever and a day that
Right.
never will go anywhere because we love them and they've been a part of our family for a long period of time. And it's okay because everybody kind of gets along and it's not a big deal and we go with that. And then honestly, on my side of town, I have children, and so there's no point in us being silly and not having conversations and being at each other's throats because we have children together. We need to be cordial. So that's just my situation. But a lot of people are not like that. They don't talk to their baby mamas. They don't talk to their ex-wives that's raising or
Right.
have their children. They don't have those conversations. And so if I speak to them, then I'm fake or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So we can't do stuff like that. And some people think it's okay. I personally don't think so. Give me a reason not to speak to someone,
Right.
then I got you. If they're hurting you, us, or whatever, then I got you. I
Yeah.
understand that. But because you're mad because of past situations, then ain't understanding that.
Right.
I got to get a good understanding of what that part is.
That part, the good understanding part, because I've had a girlfriend or say a couple girlfriends in the past
Mhm.
that to this day, my nieces, different ones, if they see them now, it's a hug. What's up, Auntie? How you doing? It's all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Probably one in particular that
Mhm.
if they saw them right now,
Mhm.
that's they girl.
Right.
And it don't matter, Uncle, what you said or what you did. Matter of fact, my nieces might say, and very seldomly they would say this, Uncle, you probably the one who messed up.
Yeah,
But
for
this
sure.
one particular, they'd be like, Uncle, you probably you probably did something.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have did.
Yeah.
But it's all about loyalty over here. I love my nieces, I love my family, but base your decision on your experience.
Gotcha.
That's what I want to do. Base your decision on your personal experience with that person.
Okay. That makes sense. It makes sense. So yeah, that I just want to see or just talk about that today. Like, do we have to sever those ties just because the relationship ends? Do we have to sever those ties because the marriage ends? How far can you go just because we stop talking? Does that mean that I have to let your family go that I build a relationship with? And if that's the case, please explain that to me. But I don't know. I just feel like sometimes we build relationships. We want to keep them because honestly, friendships and family ships are hard to come by,
Right.
especially when you have good people in your life. And so you don't want to lose those types of situations and things. That's just me. Anybody got anything they would like to say?
Mm.
Okay. Anybody want to leave with a positive on today?
Mm. The positive on today, say, just treat every person with your personal experience with them. First of all, treat people the way that you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So, regardless of the situation or the breakup or whatever, if you did all that you can do
Mm-hmm.
and you tried every way that you can and you gave it 100%, you could say that it wasn't you because you did all that you could.
Gotcha.
They might have gave 40,
Mm-hmm.
and that's on them. As long as you as an individual, you give everything you have into this relationship, this friendship, you treat that person how you would want to be treated on the other end.
Mm.
And if it break up then I think in my mind it was meant to.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Makes sense. My takeaway today would be, regardless of the relationship someone else has, regardless of if the marriage fails, if the relationship fails, but if you have a good relationship with the person that has been or that is the ex, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with continuing to have a relationship with that person as long as the relationship is on a positive and it's about you two and not you two and the ex. I think that that's where we draw the line if that's the case. But just having, like I said, a good family ship, a good friendship is super important because honestly, those things don't last long or they're hard to come by. So if we can definitely do that and still be positive, I think that's an amazing thing. All right, nothing else? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoy the episode. And until the next time, guys, peace.